It is Monday, June 10th, 2024. Welcome this evening to the Attaining Your Personal Best show with Nat Williams. So I thank you for taking time to join today. I want to encourage anyone that would like to call in. The call-in number is on the screen there, and I'll put it in our chat so it appears on Facebook as well. So I will post those so that they're there. And as is customary, we start with what we call a winning strategy that we discuss that allows for us to have some potential feedback if people choose to. So that today what we would like to talk about is a statement or a slogan that we often use as a reminder to ourselves to settle our spirit. And that sounds easier said than done because what it requires us to do is to arrest our challenging thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors. Because often as people, that's how it works. We have a thought, it affects the way we feel, and then it comes out in our behaviors. And so the effort to settle our spirit requires us looking at all three of those aspects, is to really look at what we're thinking and why we're thinking it and where we got it from and who we're thinking it about. And again, the feelings that are engendered by those thoughts and the actions that we take because of those thoughts and feelings. And often so many problems that we have to endure happen because our spirit is not settled. We find ourselves in an agitated, heated, frustrated state. And then we take some of our most challenging tasks or decisions, and we proceed to go forth. But we just allow ourselves the opportunity to slow it down, to allow ourselves to take a little bit of a breather, to allow some airtime and some airspace to settle into that moment, into that situation, so that we don't make a decision in 30 seconds. That can affect the next 30 years or more of our life. And fellowship has a long way to go with this, that having people around you who can remind you to settle your spirit, I think, is critically important. But also we need to learn how to do that ourselves, because we always cannot count that there's going to be someone there at every juncture or time period that we need someone. So we need to be able to possess those internal skills, and that we're able to police ourselves, even when others are not around us to provide that support. And again, recognizing it is challenging. Some of the things we have to deal with that affect our family and our friends, our finances, our health, our environment, our spirituality. Sometimes those are hard things to remain settled about. But again, we have to recognize often our best decisions are not made in that heated state. And so we need to remember the advice to settle our spirit. And again, to arrest our thoughts, our feelings, and behaviors so that we are able to proceed with as little regrets as possible. So again, I hope that is helpful to you. And useful as you proceed forth. So we'll pull down our winning strategy for the day. We are hoping to have a couple of guests that have been scheduled to join in. So we will look forward to them joining in. But while they're waiting, I may want to take the time to cover another perspective, which is as we talk about settling our spirit, we need to ask ourselves, where are we at in that spectrum of where your spirit could be? And we look in the middle there. The settled part is different than feeling confident, and it's different than feeling capable. But it's a beginning to move from one end of the spectrum, or the middle part of the spectrum, to the other part. And just look at the graphic at hand and just recognize the scared part. And again, often we are scared. And just look at all the work that we have to do and all the feelings and emotions that we have to, stages we have to go through to get to that part where we feel capable. So we're scared, and we have to go over feeling intimidated, to sometimes then being just a little bit timid, a little leery, to then begin the process of being settled, to then work on being confident, and again, working on feeling capable. But that's a long way to go. And at any of those junctures, we could fall. And if we're not careful, that's where we will stay positioned for a period of time. So just keep in mind that spectrum and the transient nature of being on that spectrum, and again, the amount of work that those stages require to get to the next level. And again, as you can see there, being settled is not the end of the work. It allows for some of the good work to begin, but it's not the end of the work. So please keep that in mind. All right, so I'm trying to look at something else that we may want to take the time to review before we have our guests join. And I know this is hard to see, but this is just a list of potential challenging life events that people could experience, just a sampling of them. And it's a very small sample. So just lots of times in our lives, we experience things in our personal development where there's been depression, where there's been abuse, there's a sense of sadness, there's fear, there's bullying. In recreation, we've experienced injury. We experience being coached wrongly. We've experienced where we just didn't have the opportunity to recreate. We experience losing in a very catastrophic way. We experienced spirituality. Some of us wanted it and it's not available. Some of us had it available and we didn't want it. And sometimes that presents some challenges. When it comes to education, some of us have not been given a fair shot when it comes to education. Some of us have had situations where we've been held behind. Some of us struggle with the ability to concentrate on what's lies ahead of us to do. Family and friends. Some of us have lost our parents. Some of us have had to contend with death as it relates to our parents, disagreements in our family. In our health, we've had to deal with illnesses and other health challenges, weight, self-care. In our environment, some of us have experienced a fire, a disaster, accidents, violence in the environment, oppression, terrorism, toxic settings. And in our finances, some of us have experienced unemployment. People have stolen from us and theft, excuse me. Some of us have experienced discrimination. This is just a sampling of the kinds of things that can happen in our lives. And again, trying to attain your personal best when this myriad of things can be challenging and can go wrong. It's a lot. But I think part of the the biggest challenge is just knowing that it can exist, knowing that it's a possibility. Sometimes helps because it's not a surprise. It's not a secret. A lot of these things often we weren't told about. We weren't prepared to accept them because we didn't know they exist. So part of the purpose of this show is to begin to open up dialogue so that we can improve awareness and be able to look at things in a courageous way. And courage requires us to be able to talk and speak up, but also requires the courage to listen, which is also an important aspect of being courageous. So our first guest has joined us, and so we're going to have him join us in about a couple of seconds to talk with us about his journey to attaining his personal best and what that has looked like. So without further ado, we're going to have Mr. Jamal Flowers join and talk with us. So let me just make this clearer. So, Mr. Flowers, how are you?
Hey, Dr. Williams, how you doing? I'm good.
Very good. So, Mr. Flowers, we haven't had a chance to talk before the show, so I want to make sure I give you this admonition, which is that this is on the internet. So anything you ever say, it's going to be here forever. There is no delete button. There is, but I'm too lazy to use it. So just be mindful as we talk to share whatever you like to share, but just be mindful it's here forever. All right. Okay. So why don't you tell, if you don't mind, introducing yourselves to our guests in any way you feel comfortable, and again, how you want to be known. So who is Jamal Flowers?
Well, I'm Jamal Flowers. I'm from Philadelphia, PA. I used to be in Child First, group home. And I have a hobby. I'm starting to do music. My name is Molly Rawls on Instagram, Molly Raw Music.
So hold on a second. What is your name?
Molly Raw Music, M-A.
How do you spell that?
MALLYRAW.
So Molly Raw?
Yeah. Okay. That was like my childhood nickname.
Okay. Molly Raw.
Yeah.
Okay. What is Molly?
That's that's like short for Jamal.
Oh, Molly. Okay. Okay. You have to explain to these old people like myself because we're not that swift. All right. So Molly Raw and what that's your name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I think I can do this. I want just so that people have that. I don't think I can do it. I was going to see if I can change your name. I can't. So that people could see that. But maybe if you can on your end, is to rename yourself. I don't know why that's. Let me just see if I can do that. And you can put that in there as a hyphen behind your name. No way let me do that. So I'm not sure why it's not now. But I can't seem to rename you. But that's a choice. You might want to put your industry name in there so people have it. But if not, you know what I can do? I can also put it in the chat. So you said it was Molly Raw, and it's just Molly Raw. Is it add anything or does it have anything before it? It's just okay. So let me do this for a second. See if I can. Hold on a second. So, okay, is MAALY or M?
Yep. MALLYRAW.
L. Okay, so I typed it wrong. All right, so it's not two A's, it's two L's, right?
Right.
Okay, so I see something here on TikTok, and you have no shirt on. Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah,
I don't want you to get me in trouble here.
Oh no,
Hold on a second.
As you know, I'm married now, so me and my wife make a lot of videos.
Okay, so you make them together. Well, that could be a problem too, buddy. So hold on a second. So here you go. Here's your video of you.
Yeah, I wouldn't play that one.
You wouldn't play that one. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for warning me. Uh, okay, so talk with us about. I'm trying to see if there's another one here. I
Like,
am. I'm not. I'm like the worst when it comes to. Okay, hold on a second.
well, I have an Instagram. It's just like my pictures and stuff on there.
Okay, so hold on a second. So Instagram. Oops. All right. So it's called.
My Instagram is Molly Raw Music. It's just
Okay,
the name of the
I
music.
see it. I see it here. Hold on one second. All right. So hold on one second. I'm not the best DJ here. Um, all right. So we want to present. We want to share my video screen. Do that. All right. So here's some of your pictures.
Yeah, I would just show the pictures because like my songs have some
Oh,
explicit.
advisory, the parental advisory. Oh my lord.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So some of your reels are okay. So talk with me about your interest and where this came from. One second as I go back to my screen. So talk to me about where this interest in music came from and what is your music? What is it about?
Music. I always had a special type of love for music in my heart ever since I was young. But I had a lot of self-esteem problems. And
Mm,
I had a lot of low confidence in myself, so I didn't really think I could do it. But my wife has talked to me and given me more confidence and helped me believe myself to just do it as a hobby to see where it can go and I realized it's also like a coping skill as well. Like it's like a journal kind of in the type of way. You can just like say how you feel at the
mhm.
moment, or you can just write a song or a poem and just add it to a beat, and then you just listen to it when you feeling that type of way.
So what are some of the kinds of things that you sing about, you talk about?
I mean, I just talk about like a lot of because I had a lot of pain in my life, like especially in my childhood, because I never met my I, I never met my biological parents or my biological family. So like, um, and I've been in foster care and stuff like that, and I've been hurt by a lot of people. So it's just like I'm not really of a talker because I don't like I don't I tend to not trust people with my feelings.
Mhm.
So I don't really like talking that much. But I feel like if I like write a song or I write a poem, I feel like the mic doesn't talk back to you, and the mic doesn't judge you. So I feel like it's kind of like my best friend.
That's good. Wow. And you say that you're married now. Are you married in the government sense or in your own in your own mind?
No, I actually have a wife.
You
I live in Kentucky now.
okay? So again, the government approved this marriage. You're saying.
Yeah,
Well, I've talked to people and they're like, I've been together 7 years, so I'm legally. So I just asked the question. So, and how old are you now?
I'm 23 now.
23, and you're married already. How old? How long have you been married?
I've been married for less than a year. I got married in January.
Okay, and that's an early age to get married. What made you feel like it was the time?
I mean, well, I went to Job Corps, or I don't know if you're familiar with Job Corps.
Yes,
You
yes,
probably are.
yes.
I went to Job Corps in Kentucky, Earl C. Clements, and then me and my wife went there. I went there for basic culinary and advanced culinary. We both. She went there for MAA, and we both graduated from there. And we got our certifications.
What's MAA?
That's like medical administration
Okay, okay.
assistant. And so we chose to stay out here in Kentucky because it was like quiet and we felt like it was a nice place to settle down and stuff like that. So we
So
decided.
was she from Kentucky as well, or are you both?
No, she's from Philadelphia.
I'll see. Okay, so
So we
Philadelphia.
both so we both came down here together.
So Philadelphia lost too. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
What do you see? I know the music is something you see on the future. What else do you plan for yourself going forth? What are you doing now to keep yourself afloat?
I have a full time job now. I work at Walmart. So in the future, I really want a food truck because when I was in Job Corps, I really fell in love with culinary and cooking and stuff like that because we had to cook for like events and stuff, and I really like, how the events was organized and how the people reacted to eating the food and how we got good feedback and everything. So that's what I really fell in love with.
So talk to me about this food truck idea. What does it take to make that happen?
I mean, it just takes, you got to really want it, and you got to really be determined to be successful in anything you do. You got to really want to be successful in it, and you got to really believe in yourself. And like, you got to have people around you that actually believe in their self and actually wants to see you succeed.
And who do you know that has a food truck? Do you know?
Well, I have one of my friends. His name is Alvin. He lives out here in Kentucky. I used to work with him at McDonald's, and he says his neighbor has a food truck. So I asked him if he could talk to him about, if he could come up with a price, or if he is selling it, maybe I could buy it off of him. Maybe.
What do you think a food truck cost?
I know it's a lot. Probably like well, the one I looked it up, it was probably like $50,000. This is expensive for a food truck.
Okay.
But
and again, what I would encourage you to do, if that's your dream, we need to get started on trying to figure out how do we get that. So I'm looking here. It says food trucks for sale. I see one here for $39,000, one for $25,000, one for $56,000, one for $28,000, one for $19,000. So there's a variety. Hold on a second. So there's a variety that's available, and again, I think those prices were between. Well, there's like a mobile food truck that's like $5,500. So I think between $5,500 and about, I would say the average is about $30,000. Some for $20,000. Depends whether it's a trailer that goes behind a truck, or it is a truck itself. A truck itself is like $56,000, but the trailers are $20,000 and $30,000. The ones you tow behind.
Yeah.
So, and I say that to you, and I want you to take some time to research that. So when you're talking to people about your dreams, you never know who may be able to support your idea. As you said, you have a friend who may have a truck that's sitting in the driveway that they're not using. It's important for you to start wrapping your head around it. And I think my gut feeling is probably the easiest thing will probably be one day getting it. The question is, like, what do you want to sell in the food truck? Is there
well, I have I make this homemade chicken Alfredo. Like, I make my Alfredo sauce from scratch. So, and I gave it to people just to see if they would like it, and they said they would pay for it. So, I want to have that on the menu. And also, since like a lot of people up here is not familiar with like Philly cheesesteak, so I also want to bring a little bit of Philly down to Kentucky a little bit, just so people can experience different foods from a different city.
Okay. And what I would encourage you to do, Jamal, is just start, scheming this stuff out on some paper, ideas like what the truck would look like. Is there a name for the truck? Again, whether it's one you drive, one that you pull behind. And I would encourage you to understand lots of times people have to start out in increments. So you get a trailer first, and then you get a truck later, and then, you may end up getting a full bus. So it's time, but it has to start. I remember years ago when I was a youngster, I drew a campus of what I thought my agency would look like. And I was probably 17 or 18 years old. But if you go up to Wayne County, which is where we have some of our group homes, that setup is exactly what I drew when I was 17 years old. I drew a cul-de-sac where there were 3 houses around the cul-de-sac. Now, Wayne County is not a cul-de-sac, but there are 3 houses. But I think often when you draw it, you have an idea. So when you see it, you're like motivated. Hey, I did have an idea that I'd have a place one day that had, multiple houses on it, and bingo, that opportunity presented itself. So I would encourage you to draw out your dream in writing so you can share that with other people. You just never know. And even in your working with Walmart, you just never know who people are. And some of the, rich people act poor, and poor people act rich. So you may have some people in Walmart who is, sitting there, economizing with their money. You never know. They may be loaded. And they may just strike up a conversation with you one day and say, hey, young man, what are you doing with yourself, blah, blah, blah. And they're just at that moment in their life wanting to give back. And then they'll say, like, what's your dream? You're like, hold on a second. I have something in my car, and that piece of paper, because you drew it out and had it written out, may be enough of a business plan for that person to say, you know what, young man, we're gonna make this happen. But you would never think working in Walmart, talking to a customer, being polite, possibly carrying their groceries out to the car, and you struck up a conversation that forever changed your life. And knowing you, Jamal, as I do, you're a really good young man. You're really a decent young man, and I can see people, wanting to support you because you just have a core about you that says you're a good person. So just again, draw those dreams out, write them out, so when opportunity comes knocking, you're ready to get going.
Okay.
Any children, Mr. Jamal Flowers, that are?
No, not right now. We still, we try. We tried, but unfortunately, we had a miscarriage.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's fine, thank you. But we just like let's try to recover from that right now. Sure. And then maybe in the future we can have. More than likely in the future we probably will have.
And you're still young.
Yeah. So yeah.
Give yourself some time. Anything else you want to share? Anything else you want to say before we get ready to wrap up with our time with you today?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for helping me out when I was, hard-headed, and you know how I was back in the day. I was just young and stupid, but I apologize for everything that I did. But I just want to thank you for a lot of things that I learned in Child First. A lot of things that people told me was going to happen, it happened. Mm-hmm. So now I just want to thank y'all for, giving me the heads up.
Sure. And just one of the benefits of getting old, your memory starts fading. And so a lot of times when I talk to young people who were with us years ago, they think I remember the day they did whatever they did. And I really don't. Don't ever feel when it comes to us that we're like holding something against you. We remember the day in which you stole the van or whatever you did. Often we forget all until you bring it up. We don't remember it. So again, as I said, I remember you as a good person with a good heart, wanting the best for yourself. And again, lots of times we do some stuff when we're younger that we tend to regret. Sometimes we do them when we're older too. But again, we don't hold that against you, and always hold your head up high and never feel bad about the stuff that you've gone through to make you who you are today. So Jamal, again, I thank you so much. I will definitely be on the lookout for any food trucks that I may come in through and contact, and I'll definitely reach out to you if I find anything. But you just never know. Again, someone could be watching this podcast in months to come and reaches out to you because they have your tag there, your Instagram name. You just never know. So that's the part about sharing your story. Then people can join your story. If you never share it, they can never join. So I wish you the best of luck, and I want you to stay in contact with us. Okay, I would appreciate that.
All right, I will. Thank you for having me, Dr. Williams.
Thank you. It's to give my best to your wife.
Okay, I will. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
You too. Bye. Wow. What again, a wonderful young man, a wonderful spirit, always, had a smile and overcame the situations. And just going back to what we were saying earlier, this list of challenging life events, lots of times we look at them and they're like so daunting and so overwhelming. But again, listening to Jamal's story of not knowing who his birth family was, and that leaving a hole in certain aspects of his life still didn't stop him from, making some steps and moving on and creating a family of his own and starting over someplace and getting a new beginning in Kentucky from his beginnings in Pennsylvania. So again, we share these stories with the hope that they give you inspiration and motivation to look at your situation and to remember often we have nothing to complain about. So without further ado, we're going to wrap up for today, June 10th, 2024. We'll be back together again next Monday with another story that relates to attaining our personal best. Till then, please be well.